What inspires you in business?
Me? You have to rephrase that. What would you say? Give me a specific, because it's a very generic
What has
question.
inspired you to do what you do in business?
Joel, every morning I wake up and I live my life. I do what I love, and what I love is people. So every morning, even a cab driver, for example, it's very challenging for me to motivate people. And I realized if I could use that wonderful talent in business, you'll find that people want to work with you, and therefore money comes easily, because people actually want to reciprocate services with you. And that's what business is about. It's on a human level. You're communicating. And that's really what motivates me, is watching people become something more, just through dealing with them every day on a business level.
Obviously, this philosophy, this approach that you've taken towards life and towards business has brought you considerable success. Who's inspired you the most in your life?
There really are two people, and my parents are incredible. I have...
So mum and dad, biggest inspirations?
Yes. My father is a very old school, you know, hard-working type entrepreneurial flair himself, and for him it's always about bottom line. P&L. Are you making any money? Is it profit-driven? My mother's very inspiring, she's very warm, she's very emotional. She lives her life with love and always says, live as if every day is your last. And that, of course, got me into a lot of trouble through many years, because I have done quite extreme things. You know, live every day as if you're last. But parents, I see my parents as role models, as my friends, not my parents, because they have given me no boundaries. They've said, make your choices and be very cautious. And throughout that, I've been taught to think as a young child, and I've never really seen them as people who discipline me. And that's been inspiring. So
you mentioned just them being cautious. So were you living every day as if it was your last and being cautious?
Very much so.
Well, that's if you're going to do it, you might as well be cautious.
I love extreme sports, and I have really had to think twice.
What's your favourite extreme sport?
I surf.
Oh, really?
It's very great. It's very good for me to surf, because I leave all the problems on the land and I paddle out. And I don't really do as much anymore, because I've stopped surfing about a year ago. When I say every day, I used to be out there every morning. And it's different when you get into the corporate world. You know, you can't be too suntan because people think you don't work.
No, don't want them to think that, do we?
Yes, and horse riding. I play polo.
Oh, beautiful.
I love horses. We had 22 in South Africa, and I grew up on horseback.
Now, how long have you been in Australia?
8 years.
And you've come from South Africa?
Yes.
Growing up in South Africa, how has that moulded you into who you are? Spiritually, mentally, how has it moulded you into who you are?
That's such a great question. It really is, because, to be honest, South Africa has taught me 100% strength. 100% focus, that tomorrow you might not be there because of the actual dangerous environment you grew up in. Also, it's a very competitive world, so everyone is very educated in the sense of my walk of life. Everyone's very entrepreneurial. You grew up at school knowing that where I came from, my community, was you either started your own company and you succeeded at it very quickly, or you went on and professionally became educated and changed the world, because South Africans had a very, very much a regimented lifestyle in growing up. And because we were so isolated from the rest of the world, because of political issues, also because of, I guess, you know, our economic environment and so forth, I really learned that you had to have compassion for your neighbour, but you had to watch your back. It was very hard.
That's an interesting balance. It's an interesting equilibrium, to have compassion, but at the same time to be watching your back.
It's very important.
Two extremes, aren't they?
Because, you know, it's very hard to love someone who's actually trying to kill you. So you think about that for a minute. You are. I mean, I grew up not wearing mini skirts, you know, not walking around after 10 o'clock at night, whereas in Sydney or in New York or everywhere else it's a bit more dangerous too, but you still have that feeling of freedom.
Yeah, you're not watching your back as much, you'd say, are you?
Yes, yes, you're not watching your back as much.
Has that influenced the way that you work in business? 100%. Yeah.
I'm very astute. Yeah. I'm very open-minded, and I'm non-judgmental. I'm never prejudiced, and I'm very fortunate in South Africa. I grew up in a non-racial community, so everyone was our friend, and my parents actually, you know, entertained that, which was great. So in business for me now, I'm all about being very cautious, learning to read the person very quickly, and having very high standards.
What do you mean by high standards?
High standards meaning if you're not the best at what you do, please don't bother doing it, because someone next to you will love what they do and they will take you out in business.
Do you love what you do?
I'm very passionate about what I do.
Coming back to the X2 movement, okay, how does it feel for you personally to know that you're going to be touching the lives of 500,000 women?
Do you know, I can't wait to get started.
Yeah.
It's almost like there is so much energy. It's almost been 30 years of energy being building up for me for a purpose. And I've always known I was going to be a motivational speaker. I always knew that it was leading towards that because I have so much energy. And it's so important that when you actually are educating people and sharing it with the world, the X2 movement, for us to empower women together with the other 3 speakers, you will find that these people will actually be energized and excited, and that will give them the inspiration to start making changes in their life.